Next up on the Straight Up R&D Podcast.
How it became more expensive. Yes, yes, the technology is more advanced and this, that, and the third. But you always hear like, oh, they're trying to make some new chip that's faster, more efficient, and it costs them less to make. Right? That's always the thing. You want to improve your product, but make sure it costs less to make. Right? So you maximize your profits. But why is it that the prices is going up? And this is before the tariffs, before all of this tariffs talk even happened. iPhones were $1,000 since 2019. You know what I mean? When Apple was the one that jumped up and said, yeah, we're going to start charging a band $1,200 for the iPhone Pro XL or Max or whatever.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
What's happening?
Welcome to another episode, Straight Up R&D Podcast, episode 54. And man, we got a lot to talk about again.
Tariffs.
That's the word of the month now.
Yo, that's the word of the year, man.
Word of the year.
Word of the damn year is tariffs.
And listen, before we even hop into the episode, it's going to be jam-packed with a lot of shit, but you already know how it goes. We don't give a fuck about your opinion. We love your support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, break it down, Rich.
Yo. This is Straight Up R&D Podcast where we keep it real, raw, uncut, straight up, with opinions based on motherfucking facts.
And don't give a fuck if you don't like what we got to say.
Nope.
Come on the show.
Come on the damn show. Stop complaining
got these
in them
keyboard
comments,
warriors
man.
out here.
Keep Twitter finger gangsters, you know what I'm saying? But
I love it too, yo. I love it too.
yeah. And shout out to them people that have been commenting on the shorts too. Y'all been holding it down for us. But yeah, like we said, number one rule on this podcast is we do not give a shit about your feelings. All right, keep them to yourself. But tell us your comment. But I just don't want to hear, I feel like blah, blah, blah. No. Give us some concrete info that we can go back off of. That's what I'm looking for. But without further ado, Trump is out here running around doing his patented reciprocal tariffs, where he recently just put out a whole chart of tariffs that he's putting against countries like China.
Yeah, we knew
Japan.
China was coming.
Yeah. They're about to get up to 50%.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh my God damn!
They're about to get up to 50%. A lot of countries are feeling the pain globally. This is not just the U.S. that's getting hurt. This is everybody getting hurt in this situation.
He's trying to change the way trade works globally. Like this is a big fucking move, bro. Like this, but keep going, man. Keep going.
No, good. I mean, yeah, he's changing the way other countries do trade with the United States. And hey, the Dow is down, NASDAQ is down, S&P 500 is down like 300, 400 points.
Yo, crazy.
Ridiculous. Investors are scared. Pulling the rug. So yeah, I'll start off with you. You can go first. Like, do you think these tariffs are working? We did talk about this in previous episodes. Like, it's going to suck now, but in the future, it's probably going to work. Do you think Trump's strategy is going to work in the end?
All right. It's a lot to unpack here. We have to play the wait and see game to see if this is going to work. This is what I've noticed with Trump presidency, and I was tell you about this off air, versus other politicians. He's making it clear he is not a politician. He is a businessman running this country. And I put it in comparison as whenever you run in a multi-billion-dollar corporation, we always hear how they do layoffs because they're like, hey, we haven't made as much money this year, or we fell short of our goals. So they start laying people off because they say, hey, this is going to, make more profits. We're trying to save money, so they impact the people. That's how I think Elon and Trump has been running the country, by cutting all these programs. And they said it was going to, cut funding and shrink the government. But in the midst of doing so, it's impacting people's lives, right? Negatively. And I understand the bigger picture, but I feel like one criticism I have is really hasn't been much empathy towards those people. Mm-hmm. Like, you're affecting people's livelihood. Like, there has been, they can't provide for their family in the meantime. And this is not the market to be jobless right now, bro.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that.
You can't. This is not the market to be jobless right now. I wish he would have communicated better to those people. It's like, look, I understand the pain you're going through now. This is not an ideal situation, but this is the vision we have for the country. It's almost seemed like they just cut, move on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there should be some sort of messaging for those people, because when you're in political office, you're there to help people. That's the goal, to help people and help America. Now, Trump and Elon, not saying their businesses haven't helped people. They have employed thousands of people, but it doesn't have the same impact as somebody who's been, in political office for their careers. Like, Joe Biden and Obama, who has, been in this limelight for a long time. So that's one of the criticisms I would say. But now another thing with multi-billion-dollar corporations, the way they stay afloat, because they adapt and stay innovative. What Trump is doing is trying to find a way to bring business back to America, and he's putting his economic plan in place. This is what he ran on. Now, again, he knows there's going to be short-term pain for long-term gain. But for that long-term gain, people are impacted as of right now. Mm-hmm. The market is down. Now, you and I, we can afford to wait because we're young enough, but there are some people who are scheduled to retire this year. Some people who are scheduled to retire next year. They look at their 401k. They got to work. They're like,
it's a 01k.
01k. So I feel for those people, and I think he has done a poor job with the messaging. Like, the thing about Trump, he's telling you what you're going to do, but it's not a lot. He really shows no empathy. But this is why I said, like, look, I said it on the podcast, Trump is an asshole. But you got two people, Kamala and Trump. His policies will have to wait and see if they will work. I mean, hasn't even been 100 days still, has it?
It has.
It has been 100 days? Mm-hmm. Okay. You have to wait and see if these policies are going to work. And Trump knows, this administration knows they have until the midterm, which is why from day flipping one, he has been signing executive order after executive order and been throwing shit at the fan till it sticks because he knows he has limited time. Plus, he only has 4 years.
He's looking for a third term.
He's looking for a third term. I don't think he's going to get it, but that's a whole different topic.
He better not get it. He better not get it.
But realistically, the administration like, look, we got 4 years to put our plan in place. They have to go into work now. Now with the tariffs, I wish they were done a little bit more strategically in the sense of, all right, you put tariffs on a product in the market of like you want to grow in the U.S. Like, for instance, if this is water bottle, right? Mark up.
We are not sponsoring, by the way.
Oh, we're not sponsoring nothing. Yeah. But like, if you would have had tariffs marked up on, on these water bottles, right? Now, if you would have had the U.S., you would have had those tariffs marked up because you want to guide Americans to buy a different product. Uh-huh. Only thing, we don't make shit. We don't make a lot of things. So there's really not a lot of things for Americans, depending on what it is, to go and buy. So, which is why people are scared that price is going to rise. Now, he just put blanket tariffs. And I saw that bullshit ass formula that they use. I'm like, all right, Trump, you're really you really putting a bold move out here. And I would say this too. This is what leadership looks like in a sense of I'm trying to be innovative. I'm having a plan. And there's only two ways the tariffs are going to work. Really, it's either going to work or don't work. That's just it. Mm-hmm. There's no in between. This has to work. If it doesn't work, people are not going to trust the Republican Party ever again, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of Donald Trump. Now, do I think they're going to work? As of now, they said there's been over 70 countries that have reached out to Trump to start negotiations. Before we hopped on, I saw Europe was saying they're offering 0% tariff. Who was it? I want to say, was it Netanyahu?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Europe for sure.
Europe for sure. There was somebody else, I can't remember, that was in the White House saying like how they want to improve the trade relationship with the U.S. So, all right, so there is some negotiations happening behind the scene to show like, okay, these could be working, but no deal has been closed yet. And the biggest one is China. China's going to take a while, I feel like. So, can it work? Of course it could work. But he has a limited amount of time because I don't think we can sustain blanket tariffs for 4 years. This is something that has to take a couple of months. You negotiate, you close a deal, take away the tariffs or implement whatever deal you close. But, he's riding this tariff shit strong. And, there's videos out there of him talking about this since like the 80s and 90s when he was on Oprah saying the same tune he's saying now. And I don't know if he got criticized for it back then, but this is who Trump always was. But I get from that, like this is him. He said it back then and he's implementing it now. My only thing is I think with how everybody is feeling is how it's going to affect us now. But I think we have to think about it, how it can affect us in the future. And that's my only thing with Trump. Like, if this doesn't work, what's the backup plan? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a backup plan. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some shit that they haven't told us, but there has to be some type of backup plan. Because when you're trying to do something like this, bro, first of all, this takes a lot of fucking balls, man. Like, this. I don't know if we had a president. In my lifetime, I can't remember in my lifetime, we've had a president that had to implement something like this to like change how everything is currently working. Like usually presidents come in, they're just the face of, they're the face of the country. There are probably some people in the back, behind the scenes that are making the decisions. But I think Trump is one of the few presidents that's actually come in, not saying he's not answering to other people because he has some big donors like Elon. He's letting Elon do his thing because Elon, donated the most of his campaign. So he has to have some say to like, I guess, on his input on the country. That's why he has, a seat in administration. But my only thing is, I wish these tariffs would input it a bit more strategically. But let's see if they work. There's nothing else we can do right now. We got to see if it works. Mm-hmm. And it has no choice but to work. I think this administration know they have a limited amount of time because the midterms could affect everything. Mm-hmm. So it better work before then. It better work by the summer. Like, he don't even fuck that. It better work now. So let's see what other countries come in. Let's see what deals he's going to cut. And let's see if there's a positive turnout for America. You want to bring manufacturing back? And that's another thing, too. That's going to take time. And I don't know if we'll see that during his term. Like, if you're telling other countries to invest hundreds of billions of trillions, whatever, into the U.S. and to bring manufacturing jobs into the U.S., that's going to take a while. And my problem with, and I think I was hearing this on the Flagrant 2 Andrew Schultz podcast, like, when you have a little amount of time in these political offices, sometimes it doesn't sometimes I feel like it's useless when people put in policies because the next administration could come and just rip up everything the previous administration did. So he put these tariffs in through executive order. I would have liked to see it go through Congress because they could become law. Mm-hmm. Now, if the next administration comes in, whoever it is, they could like, all right, that was on through executive order. Let me rip this up, rip that up, and then we went through all of this for what?
For nothing.
For nothing. So that's why I said this has to work. So sometimes that's why I'm like, man, should the president get a longer term? Because like if you want to do something for the economy, well, he had a first term, but then he lost, and now he's in for a second term. So you could have 8 years, which he is doing. But when you're doing something like this, the next administration has to want to maybe see it through. But if it's a Democrat that becomes president next, and then just rip all these executive orders he put in place, as we saw with Biden, he tore up all those executive orders that helped protect the border, which is why the border was so bad. Mm-hmm. So that's just really my thing. It's like, I wish it would probably been passed through Congress. We would have both sides working together to try to, see this through. But it's really like this Trump and his Republican buddies trying to see what they can do. And if it doesn't work, or it doesn't work in a certain amount of time, it's a chance we went through this for nothing. So I have to wait and see. If it's true that all these other countries are negotiating, all right, cool. Cut some deals and let's see what the fuck happens.
Okay. So I've been looking at the market I've been looking at the market all the time. I look, I see, I got investments. They're all down. That's like,
I ain't open that shit.
I sold. I'm like, yo, hey, I'm coming out of here. Like I done lost a couple bands, and I'm like, yo, like this is not pretty. Okay, it's not good. But here's the thing, and I am guilty of this too. It's like, you see the stock market going down, you see your stock, you're gonna pull your money. You're pulling your money. Any normal person is gonna pull their money out.
That's just your instant reaction.
But here's the thing, and this is why I think Trump doesn't care how the market is reacting, because again, these are investors. I'm an investor, right? You into stock market, you don't own the company, you're an investor. You don't want to lose money, right? Makes sense. So what are they going to do? They're going to pull their money out, right? That's why the Dow's down. That's why, because everybody just cares about their financial gain. They don't care about anything else. They want to make money. That's it. Yes, some people like X and Y company and they see a future, but if they lose their money, 90% of the chance they're going to pull their money out. And this is the repercussions of how that happens. Now, these people are only reacting. They're only reacting. There's been moments where stock Dow went up 200 points, and everybody's like, "Oh, like it's good." But then they hear the tariffs by April 2nd, and they pull out the day before, and then they pull back in, and then like it's a back and forth game. So that's why I think Trump is not looking at. He doesn't care about the Dow. He doesn't even mention those things because he knows people are only reacting to the situation. Now, him putting in these tariffs on Japan, China, Europe, Canada, a whole board of countries.
Whole fucking board. Like
South Africa, everywhere, right?
Every flipping where, bro.
The thing is to bring people to the negotiating table. That is the play. Let's get to the table, right? Because Japan can't tell us, oh, we don't want your tariff, right? They can't say we don't. We have the United States has the right to place the tariff on any country that they want.
Well, they place tariffs on us too,
right? And then they said, okay, if you're gonna place tariffs on us, we're gonna place it back on you. Meanwhile, they were the ones that were benefiting this entire time, right? So now when it's time for them to pay up a little more in their economy, right? They don't want to do it. So now they want to play this game like, oh, if you could do that to us, well, we could do it to you too. Yes, they can. And that's the power of being a country and making decisions that you want, right? But if I'm like, yo, if we don't get a deal on, something more fair, then your tariffs are going to stay. And I'm just talking about what I see Trump is doing. And it makes sense because, like you said, Europe is now coming to the table talking about a 0-0 tariff. If this has never happened before, we would have never gotten that type of deal from them. They would have never came up to us and offer that. You see what I'm saying? Because you look at BMW and Mercedes-Benz, right? I just found out Mercedes, they're not even going to get hit with tariffs because they make cars in the United States. They have employees in the United States that work in factories that build the cars in the United States, right? But their close competitor, BMW, does not.
Right.
So it's like, even though Mercedes-Benz is a German company or whatever, hey, they got their manufacturing shit here. Most of the parts is made here. They're not going to get heavily impacted.
You see Mercedes everywhere, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the number one car black people buy. You know what I'm saying?
I go outside and see a couple Benz parked on the block.
Yeah, you see a couple Benz parked on the block all the time. All the time. You go anywhere in the 50 states and you'll see Mercedes-Benz, right? But hey, that's the game. Now BMW, they have to reorganize, innovate. Say, yo, we're just going to have to, build in the United States. This is forcing the companies to acknowledge United States. Look at Apple. All of their phones and everything is assembled, made in China.
In China.
Right? Or some of them is even in Taiwan. Like, I know they open a couple of different places, but they're not in the United States. So it's like, all right, why did you do that? Let's talk about it. Why did you open your manufacturing in another country? The number one thing is because it was cheaper. Right? Because they can pay employees dirt cheap money because the US dollar is much stronger outside the country than it is in the country, right? And I get it. The US has all these red tape, these rules, these laws to protect the workers. Now, is that a bad thing? Because we all have jobs that,
That's a great point. I meant to bring that up.
Yeah, we want to be secure in our job and make sure that we're getting equal pay, getting some benefits, being protected, all of that stuff. If we get injured on the job, we want to get workman's comp. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So it's like we should not be ashamed of having those manufacturing jobs in the United States. And here's another thing that I don't like that people say is this. Oh, well, Apple and all these companies put their businesses out in other countries because Americans don't want to do those jobs. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. Are you telling me, oh, you're so privileged that you can choose whatever job that you want, that it doesn't care? That's a low-end job. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's sweeping up garbage in the building. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to, be getting paid $500 an hour, sitting at a desk striking a keyboard. You know what I mean? Like, no. There's a job out there for everybody. You think everybody wants to work at McDonald's?
Exactly.
No. But if you don't have a choice, you go and work there, right? You make something up for yourself to get some sort of income. Now, if I'm a car company and I want to make cars, hey, I can do it the cheap way, but now I'm getting penalized, right? So maybe I should think about manufacturing here. Maybe there should be some sort of legislation that makes it easier. Maybe let's remove some of those restrictions, that red tape, to make it easier for me to.
And that's his plan also.
To open up a manufacturing plant in the United States, right?
Deregulation, yeah.
Look, do I have to pay them a whole bunch of money? I can set my wage, and the people want to come and work here, they come and work. I'm a businessman. I got to figure that part out.
Where to put that manufacturing?
Where to put it? How much to charge people for what job? What position that they're doing in the factory? Right. That's up to me, right? And look, it does sound crazy, like, oh, all these. But if I'm forcing my own American companies to invest in America, that should be a good thing.
And see, that's what I've been trying to tell people. Like, stop. People want instant gratification, like I was telling you. They don't want to like suffer through some type of low period for the long haul. And to be honest, I can't fault them so, because the economy has been fucked up for how long? People have been, before Trump got in office, people were struggling. People were complaining about gas prices are high. Price of eggs is the new thing. Eggs are so high. Like, the cost of living has gone up. Insurance rates are high. So now, when you compound that with the threat of tariffs and you're talking about other stuff going up, I could understand what people are saying. But, again, you got to have a vision. Mm-hmm. I feel like Trump hasn't been communicated that vision well. And that's probably one of his downfalls. Like, we get it. We paying attention. We get it. But, like, what about the average American? Mm-hmm. They don't understand. Mm-hmm. So I think his team, and I'm not going to say his team hasn't, but, I mean, he is the president. He has to communicate this a lot better so you could bring some type of calm to American people. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's a Republican, but at the end of the day, he's the president of the United States. Mm. He got to bring everybody together. And I blame the media also. The media, bro, they just... Since we've been doing this podcast, I've been learning to ignore the media and just kind of like look at both sides. But if you're the average American who's going to work and, you know, maybe don't have a lot of time to pay attention to everything, you're just going to look at what the media is saying, disagree with them. Oh, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to think about the long haul and what it can bring. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, let's wait and see. Let's see if this works, because everything you're saying is true. Like, if this is what the outcome will be, who's against that?
Here's a good example, too. We know that if you go in a store and you see a product that was made in USA, right? Made in USA. And I'm going to use a really good example, and let's say tools. Mm-hmm. For the fellas out there that is in construction, that's, you know, working on houses, working on stuff, you know, you want to buy American-made tools. Why? Because the Chinese version is cheap, but them things break. They don't last. You get a drill bit from overseas. You're drilling something, you use that drill like maybe 4 or 5 times, you know, drilling into concrete or whatever the hell you're doing. And then after a while, the bit is broken, it cracked, it snapped. You're like, damn, I bought this cheap crap and now I got to go back out and buy it again. Mm-hmm. But if you buy the American one, it lasts you much longer. I have family that had tools from the freaking 80s. And it's good quality material, tools, mm-hmm. Good quality metal, steel, all that stuff that is made with and is made to last, right?
Right.
So it's like, do you want to keep buying the copy or the cheap version of something and having to keep buying it over and over, or buy it one time and it lasts you longer, right? Or it may last a whole lifetime, right? Where, you know, you're employing, you're supporting a business that's in the United States, that's paying people here, mm-hmm. keeping them in a job, right? Brand recognition of tools being really good. You want that, right? Like, people don't go and buy, you know, some cheap iPhone knockoff. They go buy the real thing, right? They buy the real thing because they know Apple has a quality level. But yes, it's being assembled in China or whatever. But when you compare the level of quality of an American company's product versus some hole-in-the-wall Chinese product or whatever, you see it night and day difference. Now, let's say Apple was to make their stuff in the United States. Yes, it would be more expensive, but your quality is even better. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing that I just don't understand is that if we all see that phones were like used to be $600, $700, $800, now they're $1,200 and up.
Yeah, they're fucking laptops now.
Right?
We have mini laptops in our pocket.
Yeah, mini laptops. But here's the thing: it's like, why did the price skyrocket so high if they're getting cheaper labor elsewhere? Why all of a
Brand
sudden?
recognition.
Yeah, but why all of a sudden it just became more expensive? There was no real reason if the tech is mainly software. It's not even hardware.
People are willing to pay it. I mean, bro, like Apple, the Apple brand is just everywhere in the U.S. Like it's really just like Jordans. Like how we always hear how people say how cheap they are to make and how low quality they are, but people are paying like $200, $300 a pop for them damn sneakers. It's because of the brand, and people are willing to pay for it. I don't know the iPhone sales, but they release these shits every year, and people just keep buying them. And then the thing about it too, every damn model, less is coming in the box. It used to come with headphones. It used to come with the adapter and charger. Now no headphones, and it's just the wire. Go buy it.
Soon they're gonna get rid of the wire. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But they've been packaging less and charging more because people are willing to pay, bro.
People are willing to pay, but it's just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't understand how it became more expensive. Yes, yes, the technology is more advanced and this, that, and the third, but you always hear like, oh, they're trying to make some new chip that's faster, more efficient, and it costs them less to make, right? That's always the thing. You want to improve your product, but make sure it costs less to make, right? So you maximize your profits. But why is it that the prices is going up? And this is before the tariffs, before all of this tariffs talk even happened. iPhones were $1,000 since 2019. You know what I mean? When Apple was the one that jumped up and said, yeah, we're going to start charging a band $1,200 for the iPhone Pro XL or Max or whatever, right? But my thing is, like, if we were to, how would the country look if everything was, most of our products were made in the United States? You know, I think we would have better cars. I think Ford would make better vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, I think, Tesla would still make, well, they need a lot of time to improve their manufacturing. They're a new company, but, maybe then they would be able to make better cars, which they are. But, I think it takes time, like you were saying earlier, for this stuff to roll in and for it to affect. Yes, executive orders can be ripped up when the next president come in. But we know that once Trump places these tariffs on these countries and the deals are made, if a Democrat is the president the next time, they are not touching it.
That's what I was going to say too. Like, they can't touch it because if it's benefiting the country, why rip that up?
Exactly. So right now, I see it as this: Trump is taking the heat. He's taking the heat. He's getting an
Bro,
immediate.
Been taking the heat since he decided to run for president.
He's getting tore up, and I'm not trying to sit here and say that I'm defending him. It may come off as that, but I agree. The way he's going about it, it's fucked up.
It's
Plain and
fucked up.
simple.
That's what I'm saying.
People losing money left and right. People losing their jobs. People losing all this stuff. But you can't please everybody. There's going to be growing pains with anything.
With anything.
This whole EV mandate, when they were like, oh, yeah, all cars are going to be electric cars. Like, you got to have electric cars. And they were talking about cutting the sale of gasoline cars, period. That was a thing. California was saying, look, by, I think it was 2026, no gas cars can be sold. People were upset. Yep. People were upset. Whether or not you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Tea Party, whoever the hell you are, no party affiliation, there were people in each of those camps that were not happy about that. But imagine if that was supposed to be the case. 2026 come, you can't buy a gas car. All right, I can't buy a gas car. Where the hell are the chargers? Why I have to wait a half an hour to charge my car? You know what I'm saying?
And I was arguing about somebody with that. Well, I wasn't arguing. Somebody in the comment was like, hey, that's not an excuse on one of our shorts. But you got to understand, too, and even the Biden administration, they approved for like billions of dollars to make the infrastructure to make these chargers for the electric cars, and I think only like 2 to 3 were made.
They made. I think they only made about 8,000.
8,000.
8,000. But the problem is 8,000 versus.
I fuck, I get 2 or 3.
that was a Fox News problem.
No, I wouldn't feel like what the fuck I get. All right, but go ahead. 8,000.
So they made about 8,000, right? And here's the thing: this is 8,000 across the whole United States. How many people are in the United States?
And majority of that's going to be where?
Exactly. Right? Where is it going to be? Is it going to be in the middle of Alabama?
Nope.
Is it going to be in the middle of freaking Kentucky? No.
Nope.
Right? It might be one that's at the border. You know what I'm saying? That's at the border of 2 states of New York and Connecticut. But is that really sustainable for people who have EVs to be driving around and say, yeah, my options are super limited. You know, this person may live in an apartment building, don't have a charger, don't have none of that. Then what is supposed to do? Go sit in a line for an hour and wait for a charger to be available to charge? No. Right?
And sometimes when I pass by the charging stations, people don't even be in their cars.
That's the thing. That's the thing. As an EV owner, I don't sit in my car. Like if I do, it's like if I'm on a road trip and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just sit here, whatever, you know, watch Netflix or something to pass the time. But like most people, they're gonna say, you know what, it's gonna take this time. Me just go in the store, the wait 45 minutes, the car done charge already, and they still in the store. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't feasible for what they were doing because they didn't understand it.
All right, one more point I want to make. And this is what I was trying to get to in the last episode with the EV chargers. Like, look, I have been to the gas station where it's crowded. To fill up a tank, it takes a few minutes, maybe not as long. And you're still waiting in line. And I've seen people cuss each other, oh, hurry up and fill up your car because you want to get there, because the line goes into the streets. Mm-hmm. Now, if it takes faster to fill up a gas tank, how long are people going to be waiting when they're trying to charge their car? And you think everybody's going to be considered like, oh, let me just charge up my car for a few minutes to other people?
Hell no.
But this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm like, I don't think we have the infrastructure yet to fully convert to EV. It's a process of what's going to take time, but you can't just say, hey, everybody drive EV cars where, you know, it's going to take people. Not everybody's considerate, but it's going to take a long time to fully charge a car. Like, I can imagine somebody there, car is at 85%. And like, oh, man, let me just charge my car up to get to 100. While somebody here on 5%, like, yo, hurry the hell up, bro.
and look, and here's another big misunderstanding. And I'm probably I'm thinking of an example to put in perspective. Like, let's say your iPhone 4, right? Everybody had the iPhone 4, the one that introduced FaceTime, right? First time you do FaceTime, right? If you charge that phone, right? You put that phone at 0% and you put the iPhone 16 Pro at 0%, right? Mm-hmm. Both phones are dead. You plug both phones in to charge. Which one do you think is going to charge faster?
No one.
Okay, so that means the newer one has the technology in there to charge the phone faster, right? With electric cars, it's the same fucking thing. You buy an electric car from 2012 versus an electric car from 2025. The 2025 car is going to charge faster than the 2012 car. Mm-hmm. Because the charging rate is different. The way that car was made in 2012 is not the same way it's made in 2025. Mm. Your charging speeds are going to be different. So now, let's say you got, person A with the 2012 car, electric car. You have person B with the 2025 electric car. And administration say, yeah, we're going to deploy all these chargers. Every car has a different charging rate. There's no standard to say, okay, your car must charge this fast within 10 minutes. Mm. Your car must reach at least 80% within 10 minutes. No, there's no standard. So that way, if I have, a Tesla, right, and this person has, a BMW i3, right, electric car, I'm going to charge faster than this guy. I'm going to be in and out faster than this guy. But let's say this guy's charging, he beats me to the charger and he's there. His car is charging slow and I have to wait for him. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You see how that can be a problem?
That's what we were saying.
Yeah. So why would you say, yeah, we're going to throw out all of these chargers, but have no standard on charging rates?
And I want to get back to tariff. Just a quick question on this. I don't own an EV. So let's just, I'm drawing a hypothetical. Let's say, because, some people, and I'm guilty of this, go to the gas station in the last second when I have like 14 miles left in the tank.
Nice.
Right? So let's just say somebody like gearing up for a big trip, they probably have like 10%, 12% battery left in the EV. Uh-huh. And they want to get to 100%. On average, how long would it take for them to get to 100%?
I can't give you that answer.
Because it depends on the model of the car?
Depends on the model of the car. Depends on what car they got. And maybe they got the friggin' Xpeng or some Chinese car. Who knows? They could have whatever car. I don't know. I don't know what specs that car has. The same thing. A person with an iPhone 4, that's what they have. That's what they can afford. Maybe they can't afford a new 2025 car.
Okay, what about with the newest Tesla?
So with the newest Tesla, charging rates are between, and it all depends on your state of charge. The lower you are at 10% is going to be fast.
Okay.
All right. So there's something called a charging curve. Mm-hmm. When you, even with your phones do it, everything do it. All these companies do it now because they learned about battery technology, is that when you're at a low state of charge, 5%, you get to 50% in like 5 minutes. Like it's fast. But once you start to get up to 50, then the charging speed declines because they're trying to protect the health of the battery cell itself. So
declines by how much?
It depends. Each company, that's the thing. Each company does it different. Okay. You have different types of batteries. Okay. Like you have lithium ion, you got LFP, you got all these different types of batteries, different chemistries, different stuff, because there's no standard. You make a standard, then I can tell you for sure, hey, it's only going to take you 10 minutes. It's only going to take you 15 minutes. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So we would have to get to a standard first.
Exactly.
Before we just say, hey, no more gas cars.
Just like, even a better example, all the new iPhones use USB-C.
Right, okay.
That's a charging cable standard. You have a fucking standard that everybody can follow. Okay, if you have USB-C, your phone is going to have fast charging. Right? Like, it's capable for fast charging. It's not I have this type of connector, you have that connector, and this, that, and the third, and everybody's like, oh, well, I don't have an iPhone charger. I don't have an Android charger, whatever. Now, it's, do you have a charger? Let me use it. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. With the electric cars, the adapter is different. You have a Tesla adapter. You have some other NEMA adapter.
Okay, so it's a lot going on.
So it's a lot going on. And that's my biggest thing. I'm like, yo, you guys are complaining about all this stuff, but there's no legislation. There's no standard. There's no, we're using this connector. Your charging rate should be this. You know what I mean? And then everybody follows suit. So it makes us, the consumers, easier to charge your car and do this and do that. Now it would be a little bit easier to say, if we want to be all green and eco-friendly, by 2030, we all should have electric cars because it's not a problem. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But what Biden didn't make sense because I see chargers around I drive around, I see certain non-Tesla chargers, and I'm like, you look at the nameplate, it's like, this is a slow charger. Mm-hmm. You might as well plug your car into the outlet at your house. That's literally taking 10 hours to charge, And it's like, and I've always said, if you were to buy an electric car, you better make sure you have a house and put a charger. And that was my
other thing too, and I'm not even sure on the podcast. Like, New York would be the market that they will attack first, right?
Oh yeah.
what's the percentage of people in New York City that owns a house? So people, if you tell these apartment buildings to have charges inside the building, not everybody owns a house. So people going to be fighting for those. But anyway, I want to get back to the tariffs. That's going off on a whole another topic. So again, all right. So continue, bro. Your opinion on tariff. You were explaining Trump's plan, saying the way he's going about it, you don't agree with. But how do you think it's going to work? Like, what do you think is going to happen? How long do you think this is going to take? What's your opinion on it?
I would say by the end of this year, this whole tariff situation should be done, like completely. All negotiate. Maybe a couple straggler countries that wanna resist and not make a deal, or because not every president is a good businessman. Not every president understands certain markets. People have strengths and weaknesses, right? What was your question? If I think it's gonna work?
Yeah, like what's your opinion?
So I think it's gonna work. I would think so. I mean, if it don't, then
we fucked.
We're screwed. And all of this was just. I will literally come say, Trump is the biggest idiot president we've ever had. If he came and did all this nonsense and it never worked, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. But I can't jump the gun and say that he is, because
we don't know yet.
I don't know yet. He's only been in office for literally 100 days already. Like, I don't know yet. Everybody's reacting so fast to think it's just going to work like that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And it's not. So we have to give it time, and we have to wait. I would hope that we're not.
We should all hope it works.
Yeah, we should all hope it works, because this is the guy that got elected. Right? I mean, people want to cry about it, bitch and moan about it, but he won landslide record numbers. like that's the thing. I can't bullshit you on that. That's the numbers. That's the facts. Yes, the economy's doing bad. We have to wait and see.
But I also try to say that, again, not even try to stick up for Trump. We're acting like he was handed a booming economy. He was elected mainly because we want him to fix the economy. People were saying the cost of living is too high. We tried the Bidenomics. It didn't work. They said, we remember under Trump, we were living better. So we just elected Trump again. So that was the main from a very simplistic level. People were like, I lived better under Trump. I remember how I was living under Biden. So now let's just get Trump back in office, so hoping he can reverse the economy and get back to the way it was. I don't think it's going to get back to the way it was, but at least to improve the economy. So you have to give it time. Like, this type of thing is not an overnight fix. Now, he's like we said on the podcast, he's working hard in a sense of, that's why, people was like, oh, Trump is golfing while people are struggling. It's like
Biden's on the beach.
You see, I don't want to hear that too, because I'm like, bro, I have never seen a president work like this, bro. I'm talking about day flipping one. Sign. He's throwing shit at the wall. Like, he is working. And I ain't gonna hold you. He's saying fuck Congress, fuck everybody. He's implementing his strategy. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to hear nothing about him at the golf course when y'all was defending Biden. We're gonna get on Biden too. When y'all was defending Biden, taking naps at the beach in the pool. It's like, bro. So that was my only thing. It's like, you got to give it time. He hasn't been in office for a year yet. My thing, maybe I was a little bit too conservative. Like, hey, I'll see after 2 years to see if everything is going well. But shit, 2026, we'll see what happens.
Look, I give him a year. I think, and even before this episode, previous episode, we said 8 months. You were saying before midterm 6 months. Honestly, it shit don't change overnight with this. It don't change overnight with this, and countries have to get in at the negotiation table and come up with something. They have to do it.
Yeah, and it's
Look, 0 tariffs. That's a businessman's dream. You get 100% of what you are selling overseas, and they're getting it back. And the competition is who makes the better product. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
That means companies now have to make good shit. Stop selling the Temu shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can buy an excavator on Temu, bro. I didn't even know that. You can buy like freaking all these major things, and they're cheap. They're cheaply made. You know, but I don't know. Like we're saying, we got to give this man time. It's only been 3 months, full months.
Seems like it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
What's the amount of it seems like it's been so much longer because he's in the news every day, the topic of every conversation. And yeah, I don't know if I've seen coverage of a president like this. Again, I'm talking about my lifetime. Obviously, we live in a digital age now, so obviously going to be a lot more coverage of anybody. But the way the media is on Trump, bro, like it seems like he's been in office for a long time, but he hasn't.
But you know what I found interesting? The people who have a lot to say about the stock market don't even invest anything.
I was going to say,
it's like, why are you even concerned? Like, why are you concerned?
I'm going to say that too. But hey, listen, man, y'all, I would say, look, just take a deep breath for now, because the way I like to go about life, like if it's out of my control, there's nothing I can do. Like
adapt. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Adapt, man.
Give it time. See if it works. Stop losing your hair. I mean, obviously, I feel for the people who are set to retire this year. You know, I'm empathetic towards the situation.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks. Maybe you should work until he's out of administration. Maybe you should do that.
Yeah, like I saw a video of
way options.
Woman, she was her job was cut. I mean, when Trump was doing when Trump and Elon was doing all those cuts, and she said she just had to work double shifts at a restaurant until she was able to find something else. I mean, it sucks, but she had to adapt. Was forced to adapt.
But what I want to know is, where's all the outrage when Google did layoffs? Where's all the outrage when Chase did layoffs?
Yeah, and people tend to forget, like, under Biden, I remember every other company was laying people off.
Big tech companies was laying people off. Big tech
companies laying people off left and right.
And like you were saying at the beginning of the podcast, you know, companies were cutting jobs, laying off people to make the investors happy so they can meet certain quotas or whatever, or revenue goals. Because, hey, sometimes you got to cut. They see cutting people off. Yeah, that'll make us hit our target. Now we have to reorganize and restructure what we're going to do for the next quarter, right? So what is the difference when the government is doing it? Now those people that lost their job means more than the other people at these Google and Walmart and Target and all these places. When they do layoffs, their jobs don't matter. All of a sudden, they're not as important anymore. Like,
I just think people look at public office versus a corporation differently. No, and I see what you're saying. That's why I'm like, when you're the president, bro, like he talks like because he's a business. That's what he is. He doesn't talk, and that's a part of why people elect him, because he talks like a regular person. Or
he doesn't talk like a regular person.
Oh, people try to
Tampon Tim, that's not a regular person.
But nah, bro, listen.
That's not a regular person.
I remember people when Tim Walz came out, all online, people making fun of him, bro, and then Trump just saying that. Anyway, I'm not even trying to get into that. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, basically what I'm saying, he just needs to, like, communicate his message better on, like, what he's trying to do. I think he just needs to be a little bit more empathetic towards the situation. I think that's what people look at people look at the president for, like, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to help me? Like, if I lost my job, how can you recover my job? The economy is bad. How can you do that? So when you have a businessman in and operating like a business, I can understand where they're coming from, but He's not a politician. We all knew that.
We knew that.
We knew that.
But what about the people in Michigan? When those factories closed down and all those people lost their jobs.
That's true, too.
That has happened. So we come on. I think a lot of people.
It's whatever the media highlights also, too, bro.
People are like, because look, I'm going to be honest. When I hear it, I'm like, damn, that's sad. But it's like, there's nothing I can do for that. Nothing I can do. You know, it is what it is, and everybody should be grateful that they have a job and that they're not in that situation. But if it's a situation where, here's the difference: if he's cutting jobs, if he's cutting departments, but then bringing in more jobs, then it's like, okay, at least some jobs are coming back.
Man, that's what I'm saying.
But when a company cut jobs, those positions don't come back.
You know what happens when companies cut jobs? They just give more workload to the people who weren't cut.
Yeah, or they push those jobs overseas.
Yeah.
You know?
And I could be wrong, but I don't see people boycotting these big ass companies. I see people still trying to apply and get in.
Look at Amazon. You call customer support. You're not talking to somebody in the U.S. If those call centers were here, that's jobs.
I did hear people saying they want to protest Amazon, but I still see that Amazon
every year
truck every year. No, for every year. I see, man, what's even crazy? I was driving to Chick-fil-A and it was by my old job. So I remember this specific factory, man. I was like, man, what's building over here, bro? But then, I quit that job and then went back over there. Now I went back over there because the new Chick-fil-A opened. Big ass Amazon factory. I'm like, God, this was what's building over here? Humongous. So I'm like, they doing all right. You know what I mean?
They're doing good. They're doing good. And the price of Prime went up too. So they doing good.
And I still see the Amazon EV trucks all around New York City.
You see, and that's the thing. They did the EV thing right. They got their own charging network in their facility where they charge their own vans. You see what I'm saying? I like that. Instead of them running around polluting the air because they're driving on the road all day.
That's true. Yeah, man, I don't got nothing against EV cars. I just want a better plan to implement them. Like, if you're going to tell us, hey, we all have to go towards EV, it's like, one, make the price of the cars affordable.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's really the
main thing.
That's the main thing. Like, look at some of the prices of some EVs and like, shit, bro. Like, I'm a little bit away. Like,
yo, look, I took a big risk taking the EV, but look, I'm sold on the tech. I was against it before, but I'm sold on it, and I'll only get EVs from here on out.
Yeah, it's definitely you see a lot of companies making their own EVs now. Like, we talked about it in the last episode, like Ford, Escalade, Cadillac, Audi. Yeah. Also, Mercedes got their own EVs. Mm-hmm. Like, companies are investing in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to know more about the EVs, just watch the last episode. I don't want us to put so much time on it, but we do have to talk about the one Venezuelan dude.
Oh yeah,
that was a visa holder, legal resident of the United States, but was sent to an El Salvador prison while he's not a criminal. At least that's from what the family has said. Trump said he was not going to deport, legal citizens, immigrants.
That's another criticism of Trump, man.
And look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, that was fucked up.
It's fucked up, man.
They sent them over to El Salvador, and that prison ain't a joke. That prison is not a joke. It's not a joke. The moment they step foot in that facility, they're shaving their hair off, you're cuffed up, knelt down on the ground. That to me is a real prison. Like, The prisons out here that we have, people out here wearing Jordans, cell phones, iPads, playing PlayStation. I'm like, how is this? This looks like a fancy homeless shelter.
I saw Casanova taking an interview from prison and got Cartiers on. Like, how the fuck he get Cartiers on in federal prison? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how? I thought it was supposed to be bad. You know, it seems like it's a little boot camp. You know, you send your kid away on boot camp. Yeah, go have a good time. But yeah, I think what Trump did right there was really messed up, and they admit that they messed up too. But the fact remains, you need to bring him back.
You got to bring him back.
You got to bring that person back.
Look, as a leader of the country, you got to take accountability from when you and your people mess up and just correct the wrong. Bring that man back. You know what I mean? Like, that's really all I got to say about it. Like, that's on this administration. Like, people trusting you to deport the criminals, deport the people who have wreaked havoc in this country, who have mistreated women and kidnapped and who have took over those buildings. Those are the people we want deported. That's why you were elected, to, you know, protect the borders. But if people who are here legally, who came in legally, you know, have some form of citizenship, like those are the people that should not be getting deported. It's a separate conversation if people who came in legally and then started committing crimes, and then you want to say take them back to their, you know, to their country. That's a different conversation. But if there's people who came in legally, who are, you know, who are like just working and providing to society, like, and they're not doing anything wrong, then it's like, that's a mistake that just should not happen.
Yeah,
that's inexcusable to me.
Let's get the record straight. We're not here saying, oh, because they're Hispanic or whatever race, you know, profile them and just send them back. No, we're saying that if you are here illegally and you commit a crime, or, you know, you're into the gangs or whatever, you should get sent back to your country. And if you are a criminal, get sent to El Salvador prison, period. I think that's fair. I mean, that's I mean, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense. I can't beat around the bush with that.
And you know what's even crazy too? I think we touched on this, but I don't think we really, you know, dove into the point when that whole border situation was happening. Well, when I was listening to Flagrant 2 with Mayor Adams, he was criticizing the previous administration, and then he was like, "Look, they were getting busloads of people." From Texas. Greg Abbott was like, hey, y'all sanctuary cities, y'all wanted the borders open, I'm gonna ship them off to you, right? That was a genius move on their part, because it's like, we don't live there. We don't know what it's like. Well, we didn't know what it was like to have an open border and have people, you know, come into the state. But now New Yorkers and other city got to feel the impact of having open borders and having people just come in. Right, so I think that's why when people started to see, you know, like so much crime happening from non-U.S. citizens, that's why people elected Trump. Like, all right, now we understand why having open borders is not a good thing, and how it can invite some crime. And then Mayor Adams also brought up a good point. He was like, some people, like from Venezuela, who are like good people, they want to escape those countries because they're like, hey, the gangs took over. We want to get out of that situation. We want to just come to the U.S. for safety. I have no problem with those people. But when we have big open borders, those gangs could leave there and come here, and now those people are just like, damn, the same gangs we saw in Venezuela or whatever, now they're here. So there was a reason why people elected President Trump to close the borders, but now when you're just going above what you were elected for and mistakenly deporting people who just had nothing to do with that, it's like, now that's wrong. I think take accountability, bring that man back home, and I don't know, do something for him when he comes back. Like, I don't know what you could do.
They're gonna have to pay him.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to pay him. You know, they're gonna have to.
Got a family here.
You know, because he's gonna get a lot of backing with, like, you know, local organizations and he's not gonna get backing from the Al Sharptons of the world, but he'll get the backing from the Latino version of Al Sharpton. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, but let's not get it twisted. Them Spanish people, they stand up for their people too.
Oh, they ride.
Hard body, because
They ride.
they family first. You know what I'm saying? All the other races, you know, they just trying to get a bag. But you know, bring that man back, like we saying. And one thing I want, yeah, go ahead. One thing I wanted to mention is that the gangs that come over into, you know, the United States, let's say the MS-13, the Trende Awagwa gangs, when they come here, they're preying on the citizens that, well, not citizens, sorry, the people that left, you know, Venezuela here to escape those gangs. They came here, and then those same gang leaders are now recruiting them here because they essentially never left them, right? So you flee your country because of the violence, you come to another country, and the violence that was in your country is now in the new place that you're at. So in the end, you're still at the same spot. And I think that's how some of these, you know, these migrants are getting intertwined with these gangs because, one, a lot of them are trying to find work. They can't find it. Or if they do, they may run into somebody that, you know, threaten them and their families and stuff like that. So now they're already getting themselves into trouble by joining that type of gang. And at the end of the day, they're getting screwed over. They're lowering their chances of laying low and becoming a legal resident of the United States, and that makes it even tougher on them. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, do we need border protection? We do. We have it now. They're working on it. You know, Tom Holman is busting his chops. I could see this guy was doing an interview. This man looked like he ain't even sleep.
Yeah, this administration, they all don't sleep.
Like
nobody's sleeping.
He really don't. Tom Holman don't look like he ain't sleeping either. You know, but it's just a
unfortunate situation.
Unfortunate situation for that family, and hope they get the justice that they deserve.
Yeah.
And if not, and if we get a Democrat president, I want to see if they're going to bring him back. If they stand on business, I want to see if they'll bring that guy back to the United States.
I just wish we had a standard.
Just like they did Brittany, whatever her name, basketball
Brittany Renner,
player.
yeah. Ooh, my bad. I just wish there was like a standard on the border. You know what I mean? Like if we get a Democratic president, I just feel like this is why, like, I don't know how I feel about the term limits. It's like, all right, you have somebody who messed up the border, have somebody who protected the border. Now you have the risk of the next administration, depending on the political party, rewriting on how they want to, rewriting on like how they want to protect the border. It's like, is this something that can be permanently fixed, or are we just going to keep going through this off and on?
So are you advocating for a 3-term presidency, or?
No, I'm not.
Or what are you
not
saying?
That. It's just sometimes it just seems like we elected a president, and if the policies were bad, I could understand you ripping it up. But like, if you just tear up everything that worked for the previous administration because you just say like, "Hey, I'm the president now. This is how I want to do things." It's like, what progress as a country can we really have of depending on the administration? It's like they keep starting from ground zero again. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if some policies are working, you keep. But I don't really, I don't know why when Biden came in, he just ripped up everything to protect the border and just left it wide open. I don't see what the benefit of that was. Now, again, maybe this could be a learning lesson for future generations, for future presidents. But I'm just like, we have 2 political parties in the U.S. They hate each other's guts right now, bro. They hate each other's guts. And the Democrats, it seems that all right now they're just living for is just to do everything opposite of Donald Trump. Now if the next president Democrat, and just do everything the opposite of Donald Trump, it's like, all right, there's some things that are working. It's like, how can we really progress if we just start from ground zero all over again?
No, I get what you're saying. It's like you're going to undo the other person's work because you just don't like them or you don't agree with that policy. But even though it's working, I want to get rid of it. I get it. But like, even if this was on the table to even vote for 3 terms, I would not vote for that.
No, I'm not even advocating for a third term. I'm just saying, like, there should be some things that are the standard, like protecting the border. That should just be standard across the board, no matter the administration.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. One person may say protecting my house is being able to keep a firearm. Another person may say protecting my house is calling 911. You see what I'm saying?
I hear that, bro.
So it's like, you can protect your family with a firearm immediately if a problem arises, right? Fair game. Or you can protect your house by calling 911 and having the police come after the fact, right? And there's, at the end of the day, is there some level of protection? Yes. One is stronger than the other. One is weak, and some people like the bare minimum. and I guess that is the ugly beauty of this country is that, hey, maybe the next guy comes in and say, no, I didn't see a problem with that. It wasn't so out of control that, a lot of people were being robbed or the gangs was getting out of control, because Biden would never admit it.
No.
Right. He wouldn't admit it. But
yeah, that's just my thing. I'm just like, I don't know. It really just depends on the party. And I don't know, man. I think I'm just getting a little tired of like these party wars, this tribalism, this cult-like mentality that's going on. It's like, bro, like, can we give it a rest after a while? Like, bro, he's the president. Let's just hope. Because, bro, at the end of the day, we're all Americans, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should want the tariffs to work. When I see somebody like Jasmine Crockett, like, oh, I'm rooting for Canada and Mexico, it's like, bro, are you American or not?
I think the Democratic Party is becoming less American and more, we want to keep the world happy, and like, no, you want to keep your people happy. I mean,
and that's what these other countries are doing. They're putting their people first.
As funny as this was with the whole Colombia situation when they were sending the migrants back.
Oh,
as stupid as that whole thing was, at least he had pride in his people, and he sent his presidential plane over there to pick them up because he cared about his people.
Right.
Right? You think the U.S. they're gonna put you on that same cargo plane, even if you're a U.S. citizen, and say, well, your ass is back anyway. Be happy that we came and got you. I mean, granted, we left the astronauts out there for 9 months. Oh, yeah. And those are like heroes. Those are supposed to be viewed as the level of a hero, right? Mm-hmm. But, we just don't care about our people that much. It's just
and that's just what I'm saying, man. Like, I know we got another topic, but it's just that I'm just getting sick and tired of everybody being at war with each other. Oh, you don't agree with my ideologies, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist. Oh, you don't agree other side, you don't agree with my ideologies, or you don't love America, you're this, you're that. It's just like, bro, I think people forget we're all Americans, bro. And look, maybe I could understand the little jabbing happen when it's campaign season. I can understand that. Look, you're trying to win. Mm-hmm. But once there's a winner, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That it just is what it is. Mm-hmm. The man here for 4 years, bro. That ain't even that long of a time. To be honest, like, you could blink in 4 years. Like, when I think of it, I'm like, damn, Biden's out. You know what I'm saying? Like, 4 years.
It felt like forever with him. I ain't gonna hold you.
And like now I'm sitting here, remember when Mary Adams got elected? Now he's up out of here soon.
Yo, his was really fast.
His was fast. So that's why I'm like, listen, just sit down, relax, and just see what happens. That's all I could say. When Biden was president, bro, I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You know?
And I voted for Biden, so that's why. But either way, I didn't vote for Mayor Adams. I didn't vote for him. When he won, I'm like, all right, I ain't moving out of New York.
Yeah. Now your ass got to get a whole nother garbage bin. Maybe you should have fucking voted. Oh man. But we'll get to Adams in a second. I do have a little bit more to say about him. But one thing I want to touch on is the protesting that's been going on around the globe, literally the globe, about hands off towards Trump and Elon. They're very anti-Trump. Elon saying that they're going to cut Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. They're coming to take over the world or whatever nonsense that these people are saying. I mean, it's so dumb. Like, I'm just like, it's just this just can't be real. I mean, like, I'm gonna just start telling people Santa Claus is real, bro. Like, and the Tooth Fairy is real, bro. Like, they're coming to take your teeth while you're sleeping, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. So I also heard that those people that were at those protests, some of them were being paid to go there. Mm-hmm. How true is that? I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of propaganda out there. Whether or not they were paid, to me, I would say yes. Some people were paid. I think
that's believable.
That's believable.
Like, I don't know, but I feel like that's believable.
I mean, it goes on both sides. On both sides. Like, there's no way a group of people are going to be that organized.
We heard about that with the BLM riots. Like, how people say, hey, it's not even the supporters of BLM, it's just people who are paid or people who just have nothing to do with the movement causing havoc in the streets.
Exactly.
So heard that on both sides.
So are there people getting paid? I would believe so. But I'm sure you can go and ask the average person that's at that protest, what has Elon done that's so horrible that impacted your life? They can't give you an answer. They can't give you an answer. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. People who are just emotionally angry.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right? Off hearsay or things that has not happened yet, or what the media is pushing out to say that, oh, this person will do this and will do that. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of hearsay. There's no facts, but a lot of people,
anecdotal right now, yo.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what they're protesting for.
I was watching a YouTube video of a content creator visiting one of the protests. They were protesting in Detroit. Elon signs of him with a Nazi symbol on him. And then, I think this was, it was for Trump and Elon, but, the topic was, they were talking about Elon a lot. They're like, hey, why are you mad at Elon? He's a Nazi. You saw him when he did the Nazi hand gesture? And then it's like, okay, we can understand that, but like, why is he a Nazi? Because that's what the media said he is. No, and I'm just like hearing, I'm like, you're not even thinking for yourself at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, if you want, you can criticize administration. There is no perfect administration. If you want to say like, hey, I didn't agree with this, fine. But like, to go out there and have Nazi symbols on this man. And then I also saw another video of a guy, Tesla, being marked with a Nazi symbol. It's like, it's getting out of hand, bro. Mm-hmm. It's getting out of hand. And I'm just kind of thinking of like, what do you hope to accomplish with the protest? Hey, you have the right to protest. But like,
protests don't mean destroy property.
Does not mean destroy property.
Does not mean
you could peacefully protest down the street, like, hey, we don't like Elon, we don't like Trump. Cool, but my thing is, though, it's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm hoping for an outcome. What's the outcome you're hoping for?
Mm-hmm.
for Elon to step down. I mean, like, I think people don't realize he's not doing this forever.
he's not.
He's about to be on his way up out of there. So I'm just like, were you just trying to copy what the media is saying? Just like that's my thing. It's like I don't know what the outcome is from people doing these protests.
So I saw a video. Some people were saying, yeah, what they want is for the Tesla stores to close down and for him to lose all this money.
Okay, and I got another thing about that too.
Yeah, so they were saying, well, what about these people who are working here?
That's what I was just about to say.
It's like they're out of a job now. Like, what do they do? Oh, well, yeah, that's just what it is. Well, maybe they can just they could work at Toyota or they could vote. I'm like, well, it's just not that easy. You don't just say, I'm going to leave here and just hop there and I'm 100% going to get that other job. You don't know.
There are people work at these Tesla dealerships. If you're burning down the dealerships, people don't have nowhere to go to work at. If you're destroying people's properties, like I just don't understand that. Like you're mad at Elon and Trump for cutting departments and laying people off. Oh, but now you want to shut down Tesla dealerships all around and have people out of jobs. Like, what are they going to do now because of your recklessness, damaging people's property? Like, what's the outcome again? Like, what are what are you trying to do?
Yeah, and not only that, these are also people's livelihood. So then one good point is, okay, what's the difference? We talked about it just earlier. What's the difference if this company lays off people and the government lays off people? And the end result is people lost their job. Like, you're not helping
you would
anything.
be proud of? Like, if you were to accomplish and shut down all these Tesla dealerships, you're happy all those people lost their jobs. You're happy people can't feed themselves and their families. They can't provide. You're happy that.
And this is an American company. That's what I just don't get. Like, this is an American company.
Like I said, we don't make a lot. So the shit we do got, protect
it. Like, yeah.
I dare anybody to go into a mall and find 5 things made in America.
Dude, down to the clothes.
Find 5 things made in America.
Damn. Not even the tile that's on the floor in the store is made in America. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, that is the craziest thing, dude. But anyway, let's light some fire under Biden. You know, we can't get rid of him. But you know, there was a CNN video. You can go. I'll put all the links in the description of the video where we got our information. But they're admitting that Biden was not competent to run again for president. They are admitting, at least Obama, admitting that he didn't support Kamala running for the Democratic nominee. You know, so it was like, why is all of these admissions and confessions coming out now when it was the time to decide for another person to run? Why not pick someone you're confident in that would win? Why just throw somebody out there? And one more thing before you go on, like, Kamala Harris messed up. She should have never ran. She had no points, no nothing. Don't run. Just say, yo, I'm going to see him in 2028. That's it. But instead, she wanted to run and lost. She can't come back after that.
Let me just read this little excerpt. So, provide some context what we're talking about. Ron Klain, former chief of staff to President Biden, is revealing new details in a new book about the former president, including describing him as out of it ahead of his debate with Donald Trump. Before the debate happened, and we already know how atrocious that was, how terrifying that was. That means they were hiding his incompetence for a long time. They were covering it up, saying like, oh, Biden is as strong as he ever mentally was. They had that poor girl, what was her name? Jean Paul.
Oh, the chief of staff?
Yeah, chief of staff. I can't remember her name. Sticking up and lying to us, saying nothing is wrong with President Biden. And then that book is about to reveal everything, but now the truth is coming out. And that video that we're going to show you all the Democrats had nothing to say. They had nothing to say, and they admittedly said they felt lied to. They felt lied to, and here's my thing. Now, I'm not. Now you're gonna hear me say me sticking up for Kamala a little bit.
Whoa.
Sticking up for
No, go ahead.
So if Biden was incompetent, right? If y'all knew this, and I'm not even trying to diss Biden, because he's 80-something,
Diss him, man.
You know what I'm saying? You're 80-something years old, it's expected at that age for you to be in some type of decline. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody.
Not the presidents, man.
But it's not supposed to happen to the president. Only when I say that, because if you're noticing this, why are you covering this up? And why can't you just come out and say, look, Biden has to step down because... No, I'm being serious, though. Who was running the country? Before the debate, it's make me question who was running the country. If they're and also in that video, they're going to say they're doing debate prep. The man wanders off, go to the pool, and he's sleeping. I'm like, yo, this can't be real. Who was running the country if Biden was acting like this before the debate? And then you lie to us and say that he's fine. If y'all knew this, y'all should have made him step down a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. Because now when I'm looking back at this now, even when he did the debate, bro, I remember after that debate, everybody was like, oh, nah, this is over. It was over. Biden still didn't step down. He waited till the last minute to step down. And Kamala was handed the impossible task.
Impossible task.
It was impossible because when you look at it now, it's you have the burden, the weight of the previous administration. You have to cover up all the lies. And remember, her loyalty is what hurt her. Mm-hmm. Because they say, hey, what we have done different. She said nothing. And then I'm even thinking too, man, if anybody was getting that amount of time to run for president, how sharp would they look anyway? Mm-hmm. How would they even want? Remember, Trump had a whole year to run. We knew Trump was, bro. I remember when the Republican primary was going on. Everybody, this is a waste of time. We already know who the Republican candidate is going to be. So why would you wait so long and lie for so long? Why would you wait and lie for so long and cover up Biden if you wanted him to step down in the first place? I just don't get what the Democrats were doing, and I feel like they screwed themselves up so much that they basically handed Donald Trump the victory. They handed him the victory. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to run a primary. Obama was against it. He was probably the last to endorse Kamala because he was like, look, I don't think this is the way we should do it. It's unconstitutional. We should have an open primary or some type of discussion on who's the best candidate. But it was like, look, we don't got a lot of time. They waited way too long to make Biden sit down. And now, is it surprising she lost? Think about all the lies and all the cover-ups happening behind the scenes. And that's why I was like, look, I don't think she was the best candidate, but shoot, I don't think anybody could look like the best candidate with the amount of time they had and had to burden the weight of Biden and all the lies being covered up. I feel like that's just a slap in the face to the American people, bro. The Democratic Party should have stepped up. I think immediately, first of all, they should have stepped up before the debate and look, we can't put this man on stage. Mm-hmm. They should have known not to put him on stage, bro. Live television for the world to see how bad that debate was. Mm-hmm. He should have dropped out a lot sooner. Bro, if they would have put Kamala in, let's just say, right after that first debate, she would have had a better chance of winning.
I don't think so.
But I'm just saying she would have had an improved chance. But even so, you would have had time to have an open primary. Have a small primary to choose a better candidate. And then maybe Trump want to be president. The way I'm looking at them, bro, y'all just shot yourself in the foot. Did y'all even want to win? Mm. I'm literally leaning towards now, like, yo, I think it's more that the Democrats just shot themselves in the foot than Trump winning. He put on a good campaign, but like, y'all just handling your party with such mess. And I don't know what they were thinking. Like, what was the point of covering up for Biden?
It was to make the party look good because, again, they didn't have any strategy. They were just riding the coattails of, oh, we have the black vote. We support women and all the stuff they want to do. They have all the other groups that they're supporting and pushing forward. And they thought that was enough. They thought there's no way people would want Trump again. We all hear that he's so horrible and he's so bad and this, that, and the third. And he's not presidential and this, that, and the third. And they thought, yeah, I mean... We good. It
don't matter who we got in the seat.
It don't matter. We're Democrats.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and that was a criticism we had during the campaign, saying like, yo, how do you think people are stupid? Do you think people not going to care on like who's running the country? Like, oh, y'all just feel like y'all such an elite party that it don't matter who's in seat. Y'all going to vote for them anyway? I just don't get it, bro. And I'm like, this is just another scar on the Democratic Party that people are not liking these things. No matter what the media say, bro, the numbers speak for themselves. Their approval ratings are in the tank. Mm-hmm. And now with this information coming out, it's like, who can you really blame? If you don't like Trump, who can you really blame for Trump becoming president? Blame your party.
They have to blame themselves.
Blame your party for not being honest with you, for not having an open primary. They had a lot of time to rethink their strategy.
You know, another thing is too, I heard like a lot of Democrats didn't even vote.
Yeah.
Because they were not happy with what they saw. So shout out to those people for, making this, even a part of the conversation now, because, the Democrat turnout was lower. I think there's more Democrats in the United States than Republicans.
Me too. There is. And we said this on the show before. People who are in the middle, who are undecided, historically lean towards Democrats. So I'm just like, bro, y'all had so much time to strategize and to rethink, but y'all just like, you know what? We're just going to put Biden out there and see what happens. He embarrassed y'all.
And they didn't really have no major notable policies that really stood out during Biden's presidency.
Yeah. Or even if they did something good, they didn't have a way to sell it to people. I think they had a huge communication problem, which is why they lost, because their whole message was Donald Trump is bad, we are good. And it didn't work. And I feel like they're still trying to do the same thing. Trump is bad, but at the same time, it's like, your approval ratings are in the dirt. So it's like you're still using the same type of messaging that you were campaigning on, and it's not working. I feel like they had, which is why you see Gavin Newsom trying to change his whole tune. Mm-hmm. He out here talking to Charlie Kirk on his podcast, openly admitting, the Democratic Party is not good right now. He's trying to change his tune. But I just feel like everybody should be offended because, like, bro, like they told us nothing was wrong with this man. And again, like, it's not even trying to get on Biden. He's old. He's an old man. It happens. Be honest. Not tell us who was running the country. Because if you tell me this man just knocking out by the pool.
I think Anthony Blinken was running the country.
Somebody. People were saying Obama was probably running the country. I don't know. Who was running the country? If this man, I couldn't believe when I heard, bro. They're like, yeah, we doing debate prep. He wandered off to the pool and knocked out. Like, what? It's like, what?
Yeah,
y'all complaining about Trump golfing?
Yo, I'll never forget the one video where Biden, he's doing a speech and he turns around and wanders off in the jungle. I would never forget that. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. But that shit was funny, bro. I'm like, yo, where's this guy going? He freaking turns around and starts walking like he didn't even know where he's going. And we saw it time and time again. they go out and they try to like direct him on where to go or turn him around. Like he just don't know what is going on. And those were the clear signs were there to say like this guy is out of it.
He's out of it.
But what they should have said was, yo, Biden, you're not gonna run. You know you don't want to run. Don't go up on stage and say you're not gonna give up and you're gonna run and you're gonna do this when you know you can't. You know you can't. You could have just said, you know, I accomplished X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna endorse whoever. I don't think anybody would have had a problem with him saying that. Everybody would have been like, okay, we understand. And the biggest topic and the narrative would have been, oh, he's really old. He doesn't have to say that he's old. He doesn't have to admit, yeah, I'm losing my mind or I'm forgetting things. He doesn't have to say that. He just say, yeah, I feel like I put in X amount of years in government and I became president. It was my dream. He got it. He was VP. He worked with Obama and this, that, and the third. And now he's going to hand over the mantle to, let's say, Kamala Harris. You say all of that before all of this destruction, the debate, and all of this craziness. You say all of that well before. He should have said that the year before. When election time is coming up and people are being like, oh, yeah, who's going to run? You'd be like, yo, Kamala, you're going to run. Handing the mantle over to you. Give her some time to put together what she wants to accomplish and how she wants to, you know, narrate her presidency. They didn't do that. They gave the woman like what? A month?
Yeah, bro.
A month?
Felt like a week.
That's what I'm saying. And I always say it's not fair to her, but she should have been smart enough to say, no, I'm not doing it. She should have been like, yo, this is political
suicide, bro.
Suicide. Like, it's gonna end my career. She should have told him that. But I think she said maybe, whoa, this might be my only chance.
She was trying to pull off the impossible. I get it.
That's not that's throwing the what do they call it? Hail Mary in football.
Hail Mary, yeah.
In football, saying, yo, we're just gonna chuck it and let's see if somebody can catch it and give us a touchdown to win. Like, no.
It doesn't work like that, yo. Like, you gotta think about it too. You're going against Trump, who has a solid fan base already. Like, he has a cult-like following.
And he had so much ammo against Democrats.
So much ammo. I mean, you talking about the guy didn't even show up to the primary because he's fighting cases and was the candidate. I feel like if I was up on that stage, I'm like, man, what am I wasting my time here for, bro? Like, I ain't getting picked. There's no way I'm getting picked. So that's why I'm like, they should have strategized a lot better. I feel like every American voter should be offended because the reason why I'm upset too, like, you want two strong parties. You want two strong parties because it holds everybody accountable. Like, you want competition. They didn't provide any real competition towards Donald Trump with the way they just handled it. Like, I guess Biden's ego got in the way, maybe. Maybe they did tell him to step down. He kept saying, nope, I ain't doing it.
For Trump? Of course.
Yeah, like,
of course. Everybody was saying that he should step down, that he shouldn't run because the indictment is gonna look bad. You know, if you get charged as a felon, that's gonna look bad. He's a felon. He still won. He beat the case
because the option
he beat certain cases. It's like he still stood on his ground and went down. And if he was gonna go down on his shield, he did. He lost before against Biden, ran again, and this time he won.
So that's why I'm saying, like,
gotta have tough skin, man.
Jesus Christ, tough skin.
Gotta have tough skin, man. Crocodile skin.
Bro, like, I'm just thinking, like, bro, like, you out here, first of all, half the world hates you. Half the states hates you. Half the country hates you, sorry. We could go, that's a whole separate topic if the charges were real or not, but you got labeled as a felon. You're fighting cases. People trying to kill you, assassination attempts. You still decide to run for president. And you won, but like the type of mental strength it takes to go through that. Like, what normal person would go through that, bro? That's crazy. But listen, I'm going to say this. I think
Eric Adams went through it.
Oh, yeah. He done. I don't know what's the future for him.
Oh man, we're gonna talk about that next. But go ahead.
But yeah, listen. I think the Democrats lost this more than Trump won, only because they just didn't manage their party well. Y'all allowed Biden to get on that stage. Y'all allowed him to still run even afterwards for a while. Pulled him down at the last minute and then say, "Hey, Kamala, we're down in the fourth quarter, 2 seconds left. Try to score." Who the hell was going to succeed in that type of situation? So it's like, I really want to read that book now to see what else they were hiding. But, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out in the coming days.
Yeah.
And then, they also said Obama wasn't with it. Obama was like, no, he was not a supporter of Kamala in the beginning. And, now it's starting to come back. Remember when we talked about they were at the funeral? And then Kamala came in, everybody just like, it looked like it was weird tension going on there. You know what I'm saying?
It all makes sense now.
Like Obama and Trump was talking. Kamala come in there like, Kamala, like, she probably didn't like Obama because she's like, well, she knew. Like, hey, everybody else endorsed me, but you didn't want to endorse me. You thought I wasn't fit. And, he was right in the end.
I mean, look, she was not fit at the time. She's not ready. She's not ready.
But hey,
what she needed to do is start a podcast and name it Cackling Kamala. That would be a good podcast. I would watch.
Everybody.
I would watch.
But hey, who knows? I don't know what she's going to do in the future. She has a fan base. I don't know if she's going to run in 28. She might.
She is.
I think she will. She has the backing. She has to get through a primary.
Look, she don't got no type of backing. She's gonna get knocked out first round. Like she ain't gonna make it far.
I think she's more popular. Do you think she's more popular right now than any other candidate?
Right now, here's what I think is gonna happen. Let me tell you who's gonna run, and let me tell you who might be. I don't know who the other runner-up might be, but Bernie and AOC.
Man, Bernie.
I think them two, they're gonna try to figure something out to run because they're the biggest ones.
AOC.
They're the biggest ones. One of them might be president, the other might be VP. Maybe AOC's president and Bernie's VP, or Bernie's president, or vice versa.
Bernie old though, man.
Yeah, I mean he old, but honestly, I'd rather have him than Biden at that time. You know what I'm saying,
bro? I don't think.
And Bernie seemed like he old. He look old too. Like he shows, like his age shows. I'm not trying to diss the man, but like I don't see him falling asleep at the pool. He look older than Biden. Isn't he older than Biden? I think he
feel so. He looks.
He probably
older.
is.
But you know what's crazy too? Like back in 2016, who wasn't a Bernie supporter? I think everybody supported Bernie. So when Hillary Clinton won, I think it was a shock to people because I don't like in New York. From at least all the people I talked to, everybody was excited for Bernie to be president, and I felt like again that's another self-inflicted wound on the Democrats. It's like you gave Hillary Clinton a nod when everybody was for Bernie. Maybe Trump wouldn't have never even became president.
Yeah, that's the thing too, but then again, it was all about the political climate at that time. The Me Too movement, all of that. They wanted a female president. She got that far. She's a big household name. This, that, and the third. So yeah, she if she wasn't running, Bernie would have won that one.
Bernie would have been the president.
Yeah, if she wasn't running that one, Bernie would have won.
So it's like, I'm looking at it again. Every time Trump won, is what the Democrats just did to themselves. Like it is what it is.
It's almost like he ran at the best time.
He ran at the best times.
That's what it really means. Because look, he ran during that whole thing, the Hillary Clinton email scandal.
Right.
That was a big thing. And then he won again with the whole migrant situation. That was a big thing. Like that was crazy. Everybody was feeling that. Everybody was
Greg Abbott pulled the genius move, man.
You know, but that's a great segue to Eric Adams. I mean, now he's running as an independent for mayor of New York City.
Left the party,
as he should, you know, and I'm going to tell you this. On the podcast right now, I'd rather have Adams than Cuomo.
Everybody does.
But
well,
the thing is,
everybody does,
but the thing is, I just don't understand how a man that had the essay or whatever you want to call it against other women during his run as governor, being like in the lead.
He's in the lead, yo.
For mayor. Like, I don't get that. I thought we were like against those type of people, you know? Like, where was the switch up? Like, how, like, did we just all forget? You know what I mean? Like, how?
People turning a blind eye.
You know, like, I would say, yo, Adams should continue to run. He's talking like he got some sense now.
Bro,
you know, I disagree with him on a lot of stuff, and he needs to come on this podcast. But, like, him on Andrew Schultz, I heard what he was saying. I understood what he was saying. But at the end of the day, like you said, you gave all that credit to Greg Abbott, right?
Bro, that was a genius move.
Bro, he should have said, screw that. We're a sanctuary city for citizens, not illegal migrants. Send their asses back. Send their asses back. Play the political game. Play the fucking political game. Mm-hmm. Send their ass back. Like, no, we cannot take them, this, that, and the third. Or send them to Chicago. Send them there. Yeah, send them there. Happened. But he should have reverted it. Oh, you going over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know, I guess
you're like, yo, I want to help you out, but I can't afford you. Go to Chicago. Like, we're the biggest city on the planet Earth. On planet Earth. We're the biggest city, the best economy. Anything you want to do, you come here to do it. You sell to our people so we can so our people can buy, right? Don't come up in here screwing it up. But he folded, and now he's backtracking, and it looks weak.
He folded because I guess he had faith in his party. I thought he had faith in. I guess he had faith in Biden. He's playing it on the podcast with Andrew Schultz. Like, he thought he would have got some federal backing. He got nothing. They told him to just use the money that you have in the city. That's what he had to do, and that's what's going to, screw New York up in the future. So he was very critical of Biden. He's like, listen, bro, like, this is a federal issue. Mm-hmm. You should provide some type of relief to us. And he didn't. Mm-hmm. So I think that's when it flipped, because he's like, all right. Because at one point he was he was just a good old Democrat at one point. Just following everything the Democrats say, just telling people what they want to hear.
Yo.
But once the city went through that, he just started to flip. And this is what I'm saying too. New Yorkers are super liberal.
Yo.
The moment that they think he's attached to Trump in any type of way, he was done. They saw him take that meeting with Tom Homan, donezo. Even though it's the right thing to do, come like, hey, this is the current administration. Let me work with the current administration to help benefit New Yorkers. Doesn't matter.
Yo.
Doesn't matter.
New York City has 8 million people. This is New York City. I'm not even talking about New York State. New York City has 8 million people. Why do you think bringing migrants here would be a good idea? Why? We have homelessness, drug addictions, crime, all of this stuff, an infrastructure that is barely hanging on a thread. Our transportation infrastructure is hanging on a thread, right? You artificially influx 10x the amount of people that we got to deal with. Why would you accept these people here under a law that was not made for that? You should have said, this is not what it's for. We can't accept these people. send them somewhere else. And I think more New Yorkers would have respected him if he had done that. Because it would be different to say he rerouted them to Chicago or send them back and then they start to trickle in by themselves, right? That's different. But to willingly
busloads, bro.
But to willingly accept them in, then it's like, okay, you're destroying yourself. And then now you're trying to spin the narrative back to say, well, I couldn't do it and it was the law and this, that, and the third. No, because if anything, just like how your charges got dropped, maybe the AG of New York would have never press charges on you. Maybe they would have dropped them, and you wouldn't have to be tied to Trump's name. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do it right. He didn't do it right. And, I don't know if he's going to win this time.
Oh, look, bro, he's not with it.
I don't know.
Man is not
I don't know.
with it.
Because it's like I just can't see. The only people I can see voting for Cuomo is the people in Staten Island. Like, I cannot see anybody in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, or the Bronx sitting here and telling me they will vote for Cuomo. Like, I just can't see that.
Bro, it doesn't make sense, but as of things stand right now, I just see him winning, bro. Like, I don't know. I would rather have Adams over him also. Even though we've been very critical of Adams on this show.
But critical in a good sense.
In a good sense.
Politically. I'm not destroying a man's character. Seems like a cool dude, on Andrew Schultz's podcast. Cracking jokes. Yeah. Cracking jokes left and right. Like, cool dude, straight up, whatever. But, like, politically, you got to have that backbone, man. That's where he fell off at, that backbone. Can't be like, oh, well, the law says this. Look how many politicians bending the law. Bend the law, bro. Bend it to your advantage. You're running the city. You have all the data, all the information. You have people in certain chairs to do certain things for you. Bend the law so that you don't, destroy yourself politically. And he did that, and now it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah, like it's gonna be a one-term mayor. That's how I see it. Because New Yorkers, they're just going to look at who's on the Democratic ticket. And if you're running independent, I just don't see how he's going to pull that off.
Yo, where Andrew Yang at, yo? Like, he...
Oh, yeah. Where is he?
Where he at? He probably collected his money in bounce.
Yeah, like...
his money in bounce, man, but...
I don't know, man. We'll see in the summer what's the state of New York.
Yeah, so that's... To be continued, to be determined. Who's going to be the next mayor? Hey, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for New York.
Let's get rid of this garbage nonsense, man.
Yeah, and I guess we'll close with this. Make sure you compost your garbage. Clean up your chicken bones. Your pizza boxes, all that stuff, because. Effective immediately, effective since April 1st. And then they did that on April Fool's Day. Like, they enforce composting. So for the viewers out there that are New York residents, or New York City residents, I should say, you got to compost your garbage. That means scraping out your plate, your bones, and all of that stuff, gravy, your oxtail gravy, you gotta, your fried chicken, all that, you gotta put in a compost bag and put it in a separate garbage bin. Again, all this extra steps, and you gotta go out, buy more garbage bins and complicate your life. Some people are freezing garbage. You heard that?
Oh, people freezing garbage?
Yeah, like they're freezing their scraps in their fridge. And I was reading the comments because DSNY, they put a video up. I'll link this in the description.
I gotta go look at that.
This lady in the presentation is gonna say, yeah, you should also freeze your compost, meaning the garbage food that you're not eating.
That's just so disgusting.
Put it in your freezer with your other good food and then throw it outside. Like, that's ridiculous.
That's just...
Like, are you kidding me?
That's just ridiculous, bro.
Put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. Yo. You see what I'm saying? Some of this environmental stuff goes a little bit too far. It goes a little bit too far. Now I gotta put garbage in my fridge. Like, what? But anyway, this is the Straight Up R&D Podcast where we keep it real, raw, uncut, straight up opinions based on motherfucking facts. You guys already know the deal. You know, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you feel. That was a trick. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about this whole situation on tariffs. You know, the Democrats finally admitting Biden was not able to run. Kamala was not a good choice. Eric Adams switch up on his own political party. And yeah, let us know. Like, comment, and subscribe. I am Rich, and I am signing out.
D signing out.
See you guys in the next one. Deuces.
Later, y'all.